Hello, this is Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio. This week, we're going to have a rebroadcast of one of our earlier classic podcasts. We hope you enjoy it, and thanks so much for listening. Episode number 738, Richard Branson on Legacy.
You're listening to the official BNI podcast with BNI founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Dr. Ivan Misner. Stay tuned for networking and referral marketing tips from the man who's been called the father of modern networking, along with suggestions and insights into getting the most from your membership in the world's largest networking organization, BNI.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the official BNI podcast. I'm Priscilla Rice, and I'm coming to you from Live Oak Recording Studio in Berkeley, California, and I'm joined on the phone today by the founder and the Chief Visionary Officer of BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner. Hello, Ivan. How are you, and where are you?
Well, I've been zooming around the world still. Recently did a Facebook Live in the United Kingdom for the 25-year anniversary, and I'm just back from Antarctica, and I will share stories with everyone about my trip to Antarctica and planting the BNI flag on the seventh continent of the world on a future date.
Wow. Okay, that sounds great.
Yep, it should be fun to talk about. Today, I'm talking about my visit to Necker Island back in November, and I had an opportunity to go back. It was my fourth visit to Necker, and I spent the better part of a week talking to Richard Branson. And I asked my followers on social media to suggest questions that I could ask Richard. And the one that I chose to focus on was about his legacy. Specifically, what is the legacy that he feels he will leave behind in the world? So first of all, my impression of Richard is that he's not really one to mull over his legacy. That said, he is one to contemplate the impact that he has had on the people around him. Surprisingly, the first thing that he spoke about when I brought up the topic was his family. In the end, he said, it's about your children and your family and how you brought your children up and how they live on in your name is an important part of your legacy. And I asked him for an example of how he did that with his kids. And when he said when they were young, he spoke at family dinners. They had dinner table discussions. And he said it's so much more interesting if you can throw out a discussion with kids and have a dinner table debate on an issue. And he really wanted them to learn about what's going on in the world. And he said, most people don't do that. Most people don't have those kinds of discussions with their children. So for him, it was a way to guide and coach his children about issues in his community and the world, and that learning is an important legacy to carry on. And frankly, I've seen that with him firsthand in my visits to Necker. He talks a lot about family. Family is very, very important. My experience of Richard is that he absolutely lives his life to the fullest. And every day on the island, he would swim a lap or kite sail around the entire island. And then he would go to a nearby island to ride his bike. Wow. Do that often. And in fact, he just had a nasty bike accident as about a week or two after my visit to Necker, and really hurt himself. But he's recovering well. But he's very, very physical. I private messaged him on our WhatsApp group from visiting Necker. And I told him that I was really glad he was okay. And I suggested he slowed down a bit. But I added that I don't think that phrase is in his vocabulary. And he agreed it's not in his vocabulary. As did the rest of the private WhatsApp group. They seem to agree that with that assessment, that it's not in his vocabulary to slow down. And he's, I think, 70 years old. He once told an interviewer that with extreme wealth comes extreme responsibility. and the responsibility, he said, for me to invest in creating new businesses, create jobs, employ people, and put money aside to tackle issues where we can make a difference is very important. Richard said that you must be driven by a purpose that is greater than yourself. And he said, I'd like to think I've lived a full life and made a difference. But in the end, it's about how you brought up your children. He went back to the children and how they live in your name. Priscilla, the older I get, the more I'm asked about my thoughts relating to legacy. It's like the more gray hair I get, the more people ask me this question. And to that, I answer that your life is, in my opinion, your legacy. Your life is your legacy. How you lived and how you showed up in the world is the legacy that you leave behind. And I think this is a great topic for the end of this year and moving into the next year. In college, I read something that had a major impact on my worldview. And I'd love to talk about this for a couple of minutes before we wrap up today, Priscilla. But
Great.
I read something that had a really big impact on my worldview, and I'll paraphrase it here. It's based on a quote by Jean-Paul Sartre. He says, we all die too soon or too late, and yet our life is complete at that moment, with a line drawn neatly under it, ready for the summing up. We are our deeds in life and little more. And that's why I believe my life is my legacy. All of our lives are our legacy. How we show up in the world and what we do throughout our life is the legacy that we create, good, bad, indifferent. It's how we show up and the things that we do. It's the sum of our behaviors, the sum of the things that we do throughout our life that really creates our legacy. What are your thoughts, Priscilla?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it doesn't appear to be anything grandiose. It's the small things that are important. It's like how you help other people in just the daily way that you live your life. And it's hard to see it as something important, but it's all the little transactions, all the little experiences that you have with people that make a difference.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. It's the little transactions that make a difference. I've said, and I know I've said this in a podcast before, that we as individuals may not make a world of difference, but we can make a difference in the world. And we do that through those individual transactions. And I think that's so important. And, people think that only billionaires are able to make a difference in the world. And I would disagree. I think we can all make a difference. We do that with the people we interact with, the actions that we take. We all have people that are in our story, people that have made a difference in our life. But the thing that's more important than anything, in my opinion, is whose story are we in? Whose life have we changed? How have we helped somebody? I think that's the best legacy that we can all leave in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's also the most accessible, because everybody has the opportunity to do that. And not everybody.
Everyone has the
Right.
opportunity.
And,
Yeah.
and not everybody has a lot of money to throw around or donate, but they definitely can be a good person to their neighbor.
Yeah. Look, I know people that have no money that have made a bigger difference in the world than people with a lot of money. And I think that's an incredible legacy, is making a difference in people's lives. And I see BNI members all around the world who make a difference for each other, who support each other and help each other. They're there not only with giving referrals, but they're there to give emotional support, which has been really important over the last couple of years, and help one another. And that to me is the idea of a line drawn neatly under it, ready for the summing up, is those activities, those things that you do for other people.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that BNI is a beautiful way to build community and be able to do those things for each other, because you get to know each other on a kind of a deeper level. And when when somebody needs you and when somebody needs help. So I really appreciate that about BNI.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And everyone listening to this podcast, go out and do something special for someone. It's the end of the year. It's a perfect time to pour into somebody else and to support somebody else in the transition to the new year. So with that, I would like to say Happy New Year, Priscilla, and I really enjoy working with you.
Oh, thank you, Ivan. And I feel the same way, and Happy New Year to you.
All right. Well, we're going to be dark for 1 week, and we'll start up again on the first of the year, which will be during our anniversary week for BNI, our 37th anniversary. Thanks so much, Priscilla. I really appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. Well, I think that's it for this week. This podcast is sponsored by MeisnerAudioprograms.com. These audio programs will provide you with the tools and the inspiration to powerfully enhance your BNI experience and help you boost your business. So check out the great material available to you at MeisnerAudioprograms.com and use the promo code IVAN50 for 50% off all of the audio programs. And all of the proceeds are going to go to the BNI Foundation. So thank you so much for listening. This is Priscilla Rice, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for another exciting episode of the official BNI podcast.